which provided him with 4 years of comprehensive support during his academic study. As he neared the end of his degree, Oluwatuyi's innovative mind sparked and he conceived a mini water treatment plant using only locally available materials. This remarkable feat earned him honors and he graduated with flying colors. With his eyes set on conquering greater heights, Oluwatuyi moved to Hungary in Europe on a fully funded scholarship where he delved deeper into his passion for water management engineering. With his hard work and dedication, he rose to the top 1% of his graduating class during his master's degree. Undeterred by his success, he went on to pursue a PhD in land and water resources engineering at Iowa State University, United States, where he continued to make remarkable strides in his field of study. His dedication has not gone unnoticed and he has won fellowships and grants during his tenure at Iowa State. As a visionary and thoughts for food, Oluwatuyi champions the need to feed world projected population by 2050, while also exploring the intricate nexus between food and water. In 2018, together with his friend Yanodua, he founded the Before Rain Conference, a platform aimed at empowering young people like themselves. The conference has organized career-related webinars, bringing together phenomenal speakers from all walks of life. Despite his busy schedule, Oluwatuyi always finds time to volunteer, meet new people, and offer his knowledge to those in need. His love for edifying music and reading has led him to become a big fan of public libraries. Even with access to abundance of resources and so, he seeks solace in the welcoming embrace of public libraries. So join me in welcoming our co-founder and the first speaker for tonight, Oluwatuyi. You have it closer.
Oh, thank you very much, Peter. I'm really so excited to be with everyone tonight. And I want to appreciate everyone for joining in, because the reason why we are here is because you are here. So if you're not here, we'll not be here today. All right, so I'll just be talking briefly about how do you haze the interview with your professors. Okay, so after you've written professors, eventually they will want to speak to you, because they want to hear from you. They want to know how passionate are you about what you really talked about in your mail. Okay, so then I would also touch a little bit on GRE. I didn't touch on TOEFL because I believe if you have all of the details about GRE, that may help you. I also added some hyperlink that might help you in acing your GRE, as it were. All right. Okay, so there are basically two major ways. So someone should come on video when my time is up so that I can see it. All right, so there are two major ways you may be interviewed, basically through your major professor or through a graduate committee. All right, so that's just the two basic ways where you can be interviewed. When I was going to get into Hungary for my scholarship, it was a graduate committee that actually interviewed me. But when I was coming here, I was interviewed by two different professors from different schools, and of which I got the funding for both schools. All right, so those are just the basic way. So what are the tips if you want to prepare for an interview? Dress as comfortable as you want to be. I wouldn't say you should wear a suit, okay, or a tie. I would do that. Usually I wear a suit. I kind of suit up. I mean, that's just my person. But you wear something that you be comfortable with, that you know that when you are speaking, you know that, no, someone should be able to hear you out, just hearing that. Be excited about what you're saying, because sometimes they want to be sure, oh, is this person going to be good on our team? They don't need someone who is a sadist and is always moody. So they want to be sure that you are someone that is excited about what you're saying. If you're talking about water, let them know how passionate you are. Oh, this was where I came from. This was how I grew up, and things like that. Read about the professor beyond their academic journey, beyond just reading their citations, their literatures. Make sure you read about, track them. Did they just win a grant? That's the first thing you should talk about. Oh, I just read that you won a $100 million grant. I mean, that's really great and remarkable. I mean, talking about that makes him or her know that, wow, this young man or this young lady has really read a lot about myself. So before talking to them as well, you can get available video about them, because we from Nigeria, we might find it difficult to hear them very well. So now watching a video of them speak, I did that with my professor. I kind of watch a video of how does she speak. so that I'll be able to know, okay, this is how she speaks. Okay, I could relate with that. Learn more about the department because you are going to talk about that. Ask questions, what you are to expect in the interview beforehand. So you should write a mail. For example, if your professor said, hey, I'm going to be setting up an interview with you, right then, they are more than willing to answer. Just tell me, hey, what should I expect in this interview? They will tell you, okay, I just want to know more about you. Okay, I want to do this and that. Look for the best internet. That it's Nigeria, that most of the participants today are in Nigeria, maybe in other part of Africa as well. Over in the US, we don't have EU with light or internet, but over there, there's still EU with internet. So know what works for you. I will not mention any network provider. Okay, but make sure you get that right, because if you do not, it can get you in big bad trouble. So just make sure you know what internet works in your locality and get that set up. Of course, lightning as well. A good laptop that is well charged, or maybe you have a charging port right beside you to make things work. Be guaranteed. Okay, so talk your heart out to God about your interview, which is very important. I mean, talking to God is key because it's still going to be about favor in the end. You know, it's not always of him that runs, of him that willeth. It's of God that showed mercy. So just make sure you talk to God also about your interview. All right. So popular questions are probably, tell me more about yourself. Tell me more about yourself. Rehearse it well. This is who I am. I'm Oluwatuyi. I grew up in an environment where there was little or no water. So my blah, 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 blah. Talk about that. Okay, this was my journey. This was how I had this. They want to hear that how. Make sure you rehearse your story very well. Make it really convincing. Let them know that, no, I can't let go of this guy. I can't let go of this lady. All right. So why do you want to study in this program? Those are the questions they will ask. What are your experience like in this field? So at this point, if you've done research, internship, that's where you get to talk about it. What are the future prospects? Like, what do you want to become in the future? What do you see yourself? Do you want to go on to become a faculty? Do you want to go and work in they need all those details. Then question will show up from your CV or motivation letter. It's going to show up. So make sure, for example, like Akimade was talking about using ChatGPT. Make sure using ChatGPT that you should not use it to write entirely. So make sure you kind of know what is in your motivation letter and your CV very well, because they are going to ask questions from you. They can just pick your motivation letter and just ask questions around it. All right. So some professors may pose technical questions to you. One of the professors that interviewed me did. Okay. So he might ask technical question about your field. So make sure you are ready for that. All right. So response, be prepared, prepare enough questions. For example, they would not be able to tell how serious you are. They will not be able to tell how serious you are if you just tell them, oh, I don't have any question, and you just coast along and you just left the interview. No. Ask them questions. Let them know that. Prepare your question before. Oh, this question I want to ask from this professor. Okay, I will ask him this. Ask them intelligent question, well laid out, so that they will know that whole. Because when you are coming to the US, you're coming for your master's or your PhD. Eventually, you are going to be dealing with research. So the ability to ask profound questions will really mean that you've done your assignment and you've done your homework. All right. So general advice: pay attention to the gesture, the attitude of the professor during the interview, because at some point yourself, you might have to determine which professor should you go with. In my case, I got 2 offers, but there was someone that wrote me recently that got 7 offers. I kind of added that box on this side that got 7 fully funded offer. So he had to make a choice. And one of the key things that he would have to make is the choice of which professor was actually the best when he was communicating, because your major professor has a major stake in your success in the US. It's not about getting funding alone. You can be frustrated if your professor is making life difficult for you. So get that right. Pay attention to your professor's attitude and get, so that when you have multiple offers, you would be able to make choice right in terms of persons, in terms of attitude, in terms of the person you know that you'll be able to work with, and that the future is guaranteed with that person. So send thank you notes for the privilege. It's very important. I do that a lot. Anything, just make sure they might do as if they are not taking it too serious, but they kind of count on all those. You said the thank you note. Oh, I really